and we agreed to take part in the talks with a sense of responsibility and remain engaged and make an endeavor to move towards a political solution. Talks did not commence till January this year. I had to have meetings with the President after the President went to India and came back, and he went to India and came back, and eventually the talks commenced in January. We have been in very much very close touch with the Indian High Commission in Colombo, who is aware of all the details of the talks that are going on. We are hoping to visit New Delhi and have further meetings with the people there who matter. But we are firmly of the view that one of the few governments to which Sri Lanka responds to some extent is India. They are concerned about India, but they also play the Chinese card, and they try to show India that if they are pushed too hard, they would go into the Chinese orbit. But nevertheless, India has been pressurizing them and telling them that they must come up with a fair solution. The President has been talking about 13th Amendment plus. The Prime Minister of India has been talking about meaningful power sharing, meaningful devolution. India is engaged, India is very involved, and India wants the matter settled. I think India is working with the European Union, working with the United States, and they are endeavoring to do something. India bailed out Sri Lanka in May 2009 when there was a resolution likely from the European Union, and there was another resolution which was introduced by someone which bailed out Sri Lanka. I do not think they will do that any longer. We have taken this matter up with the Indian government. We have taken this matter up with the Indian Prime Minister. We have spoken to their ministers and high officials, and we have told them that they should not do that, because Sri Lanka is not keeping any of the commitments it made to India. And when Sri Lanka is defaulting in keeping the several commitments it made to India in a post-LTTE phase, I can understand India being a spectator during the time of the LTTE for various reasons, which we need not go into now. But in the post-LTTE phase, when there is no LTTE and when there is no hindrance or obstruction to a reasonable, negotiated political settlement now, if Sri Lanka does not deliver, India must not bail out Sri Lanka. And if India does, that will hurt the Tamils in Sri Lanka. And it hurts the Tamils in India. And we have been assured that India will be even-handed and will not play such a role. So we are confident that India will not let us down. But we need to work more, and India also needs to be sure. And persons like you who can influence India must also influence India to take the right position.
No, I have raised that point, Chair, before with the Prime Minister and others. I had the meetings with the High Commission here. I'm going to meet the Prime Minister on the 5th of June, 5th of December this year. I will definitely raise again with that. So I'm on record to raising with the Indian government the Tamils in the past few years.
I think you are the chairman of the Congress.
Yes, I am chairing Congress. Thank you.
I'm just impressed you're a chairman of the Congress.
Yes, good to see you again. I think I probably met all of you when I was in your parliament last year. You may recall that I had gone to your country in 2006 because your president asked the then Prime Minister, Tony Blair, for someone to go and talk to you about the Northern Ireland peace process. I'd been the Secretary of State then, so I came across and talked and thought in 2006 there was some hope, to be perfectly honest, but it wasn't to be, and all sort of things happened, obviously terrible things happened in the intervening years. There are 2 points that I want to raise with you. The first one is obviously about the lessons learned commission, and that is to report literally in weeks, I guess. And you will recall, of course, that we had the Channel 4 documentary which was shown in this country and caused big outrage amongst people. Like many here, I met the High Commissioner, the new High Commissioner here, to express my misgivings at what was in the film. And you will also know that, of course, the Sri Lankan government then put out their own version of that particular film. Whatever the rights and the wrongs of it, the government is right here, and I'm not a member of it, but I agree with what they're saying, is that there has to be an international independent investigation into what happened. But we must await this commission, and your feelings are we mustn't hold our breath for anything too dramatic, but nevertheless it will report in a few weeks' time. My view is that there is probably quite a strong case for there to be a debate in our Parliament fairly soon.
It is our, just to state our intention, I discussed it with Siobhan, but as soon as that report is published, that we will be putting it correct.
Yeah, well, you certainly have my support on that.
I will put it down,
Yeah.
because the more support we have, the more.
Because I think that's important to give members of this Parliament the opportunity to discuss the Commission. The other issue, which is the question of devolution and the political settlement, is something that I and my colleagues who went on the delegation, who met you back last year, raised with the President and with every politician in Sri Lanka, and that was the need for speed in terms of resolving the political settlement. Now clearly that's not happening, but our own experience here is that if you don't actually come to a proper negotiating process, then there is a vacuum which will be filled by violence. And I've expressed that view very strongly since I returned from Sri Lanka, but also I think all of us here would be of the view that prevarication in terms of the actual process of bringing about a political settlement is the last thing that should happen in Sri Lanka. And certainly you have mine and I'm sure all our support to ensure that there is some resolution of that. I will certainly seek a further meeting with the new High Commissioner here to express that view and to say that you and I have met and that we think that prevarication on this point simply will be counterproductive, and that from our own experience that isn't the right thing to do. So you certainly have our support in that. But those are the two big issues, it seems to me. How you deal with the past, whether this Commission is going to do anything towards that, and how you deal with the future in terms of the actual business of negotiating a political settlement, which to me seems absolutely vital. Now you've got something approaching it in the east of the country, nothing in the north, and that I think is bad news and needs to be addressed. But we'll see what happens. But I think the debate is a good idea, it's a good start, and I think that pressing also the government here to ensure that this is on their agenda all the time is so very important.
If I can just add that I recently have been to Geneva to the UN on 2 separate occasions and met with approximately 23 different countries' ambassadors to basically say that on behalf of the all-party group, and I think a cross-party issue in the House of Commons is justice for innocent Tamil victims, reconciliation and a settlement, and as you quite rightly said, I'm quite appalled to hear the process of how it's been delayed and delayed and delayed, and I hope that it is not delayed any further and your November session, when you're doing the budget, has the opportunity to achieve that. I would love to say that I'm really optimistic, and I'll just go on the side that I'm hopeful, but I won't be surprised if that doesn't occur. We await the report, which I think you said earlier, today is due on the 19th of November?
15th of November.
15th.
15th is the due date, but that's the date announced so far, but now they have shifted to 17th.
17th
And being tabled in Parliament on the 19th. Yeah.
So on the 19th of November, we will see what's said. I again would love to say that I hold out a lot of hope for what will be in there, and I would love to be proved wrong that there will be something in there, but I have a fear I will not be proved wrong of what's in there. It will be our intention to continue the pressure as an all-party group on behalf of not only our Tamil constituents, but on behalf of the Tamil community in Sri Lanka as well. We will be meeting with, I'll call for a meeting with the Minister as soon as this report comes through, and we will be pushing for a full parliamentary debate in the way we had one a few months ago, so that it can be discussed and pressure put on for a full international inquiry. When I met with the High Commissioner, and he had with him a representative of the Sri Lankan government, I said that if I am wrong, I would be more than happy to stand up and apologise. But if I am wrong, then allow an international inquiry, and if you're right and I'm wrong, it'll prove you right and me wrong. I can't understand why you wouldn't allow one unless there was some reason of something you don't want people to know. So I believe that is a way forward on that. I've made my position clear on behalf of the all-party group. We work closely with each other, and that will continue. Now, I do know that although the last meeting ran late, you've got the next one due, I believe, with the shadow ministerial team. So it probably would be best for the shadow ministerial team that I wasn't present for that, as being the only Conservative here. But nonetheless, can I just assure you, I will see you later on at the next meeting at, I think it's 5:15, but I will be there with you at the 5:15 meeting. I'll come back, and I'll now leave it for the shadow team. And thank you very, very much for sharing with us.
Best of luck to you all.
And yeah,
Thank you very
you have
much.
our good wishes, and we will do all we can to assist.
Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you. You stand.
You go back tomorrow?
For me,
You go back tomorrow?
I'm going back tonight.
Oh, tonight? Oh my God, how about this time?